Hi guys, today I am going to be doing a cane, but I don't want you to panic. It's easy, a little bit time consuming, but all the components for this cane are pretty straightforward. And I was going for kind of like a folk art look. So I'm using particular colours that I notice that tend to appear in like folk art pieces and whatever else. So I've got all different clays and I've got all different colours, and my advice to you, if you're making a cane, get all your components ready so you're not, you know, to-ing and fro-ing. And what I've got here, and excuse my dirty clay, the more I rolled it the dirtier it got because I was like playing with different colours, but it will all come out clean once we've rolled it. So here I've got some Premo turquoise and Premo white rolled into triangles and put together, and they're going to be blended together. About 1.5 strip from a 2-ounce block of each. And then over here I've actually got some Soufflé Jade and some more Premo white, roughly the same amount. Now I'm going with these colours because these are the colours that I thought would look good. So they are different clays, but that's fine. And then over here, I've got some Soufflé Cherry Pie Red, Fimo Soft Tangerine, and Fimo Soft Sunflower. It's red, orange, yellow, guys. It doesn't really matter which brand you use. Red, orange, and yellow. Some kind of green, obviously in white, and then you've got the turquoise. So they're all going to be blended. I've rolled them all out into little, well, quite big teardrops. Oh, by the way, guys, this is half a block of each of those colours, okay? And then I've rolled some logs out as well for down the road, just for fillers and things. So I've got some more of the Soufflé Jade, some white, some of the Cherry Pie Red, some more of the Sunflower, and then also a log of Premo Navy, a log of Premo Black, and a little tiny log of Premo Turquoise. I'm not going to use all of this, but I've just rolled them out ready to go. So get your logs already rolled out like so. So that's those. And I've also rolled out some strips of black ready to go. This is for when we wrap the cane. I've got 2 pieces. I might need more, I don't know, but that's what I've got so far. And I've rolled these out onto a number 5 setting, 0 being the thickest setting, so about the halfway mark of thickness. I'm just going to pop those over there. And then I've also got a little tiny strip of Premo Antique Gold and some more Premo White, and these are rolled out onto a 5 as well, just little tiny bits. All right, so first thing first, I'm going to take this one, and this is filthy, but oh well. So I'm going to make a blend. I'll quickly show you with this one, then I'm going to do the same with these 2 as well. All right, so you put your little teardrops together, roll it out flat enough to go through your pasta machine. Once you've done that, pass it through your pasta machine this way down. When it comes out of the other end, fold over colour to colour like this. Pass through the machine again, colour to colour, machine, fold colour to colour until you've got a blend that you're happy with. All right, so I'm going to go and do that, and I'll do these 2 as well, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've done all my blends. There's that one, and then the bigger one. All right, and what I'm going to do with all 3 of them, let me just put those to the side because I'm going to do the same thing on all 3, is then take it, fold it colour to colour like this, and then we're going to make it into a longer strip going this way. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on all 3. And I just like to pinch the tatty edges like this before I pass it through the machine, just to help smooth it out a bit. Just give it a little bit of a squeeze here and there because it has cracked in places. That's that Fimo. I don't usually use Fimo, but I really like the colours, and because I couldn't actually get any of those colours when I went to Michael's earlier. They really didn't have a lot in stock, but I'd run out of orange and I'd run out of yellow, so I just grabbed the Fimo, and the colours work. But like I say, orange, red, yellow, it's fine. Doesn't really matter which ones you use. All right, so I'm going to do the same on these. Well, I'll just do that on camera, and then I'm going to pass them through and make them into longer strips. So same with this one, fold it over colour to colour, and then I'll pass it through the pasta machine. Same again with this one, colour to colour, and then I'll pass it through the machine lengthways like this. I'm going to take them down to about setting number 5 again, guys, so halfway, the halfway mark. I'll go and do that and I'll be back. All right, guys, I've got 3 very long strips, so there's that one, and all I'm going to do with this one and the green one is roll them up. So I'll quickly do that on camera, just one of them, and I just need to move this out of the way. This is the obviously the other one, extra long strip there. I'll take the first one then. Let me just turn it this way. Not a lot of room, guys, doing this. And I'm just going to quite simply take one end and start rolling it up, and that's a Skinner Blend bullseye ready to go. Okay, I like to squeeze it a little bit as I go along, just to make sure I'm getting the air bubbles out. It's extremely long, extremely sticky, and I'm just going to go roll, roll, roll like that. I won't do this one on camera, but I'm going to do the exact same thing with that one. Until you get all the way to the other end, and then you've got your bullseye cane ready to go. Okay, obviously I need to just give it a little bit of a squeeze and tidy it up a bit. Make sure there's no air bubbles in it. You can always tidy the ends up at some point, but that's all I'm doing. I'm going to do the exact same with this other one, the green one, and I'll be back. So I've got my 2 bullseye canes just here. I'm going to put those to one side, and then we're going to work on this other strip. Now this one, I'm not rolling it. I'm going to do what they call a fan fold, and I am not good at doing fan folds, so you'll have to bear with me. Whoops. But I'm going to give it a go doing it this way. So I've got this side stuck down. Let me bring it over, guys. This is really long. I've got it stuck down on this side of the table, and it's now broke like so. And I'm just going to bring this over and press it down nicely like that, and then bring this back and fold it over on itself like so. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way through the strip. Let me try it this way actually. Let me just bring this over. It's a little awkward when I've got my camera in the way, because it's quite a bit easier doing a fan fold like this, but you know, cameras and all that. So I'm just going to do that. I'll do that on camera, and I can perhaps chat to you for a little quick minute. Last week was chaotic, well, this week was chaotic. I've had no hot water for 3 days now, and there's a long story behind it, but I basically told a couple of companies where to go. The prices were absolutely ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure, because my husband's working away as usual, I'm pretty sure because you're a woman on your own, they like to take advantage, but I'm not that easily fooled, so I'm just going to wait till my hubby gets back. And by my husband doing it himself, which he did the last one, and it lasted 11 years, we've saved £2 because that's what they wanted. They wanted $2,800. It's like, get out of here, guys. I'm not paying that. It's like, no. So I've been boiling kettles and pans on the stove and all that, but you know, it's no biggie. I've still got water at least, and I've still got heat. So there's that, and I shall tell you some other news in a little while. All right, so we've got the fan fold. Like I say, I'm not the best at it, but you know, it is what it is. It works. I've got that blue and white, turquoise and white bullseye, and then the jade and white bullseye. We've got to work on this one first though. Okay, so I'm just going to start to gently squeeze it so it's a little bit rounder, and just to tidy it up a bit as well. And you know me, I'm really not overly precise when it comes to canes. I just kind of go with it and hope for the best, and they usually turn out okay. You know, some people are there measuring, and I'm not knocking that, guys. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm not knocking that at all. I just can't do the precise. I'm a little bit more, I don't know, spontaneous, I guess. And I'm kind of the same when it comes to baking, you know. I'm a good cook, but when it comes to baking, you can forget it, because I just can't be bothered with all the measuring and being really precise. If I can't just throw something together and hope for the best, then I kind of don't feel like it. So anyway, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is some precision in this, obviously. I'm not just chucking stuff together random, but there you go. All right, so we've got this one ready to go. And I'm just going to bring up my pictures, guys, so I can follow what I did, because I know if I don't, I'll more than likely forget what I did, and you'll get a completely different cane than what was intended. But having said that, that's not such a bad thing either. All right, so once you've got your fan fold kind of rounded off, it doesn't have to be perfectly round, you're going to take your blade. I'm just going to grab a sharper one. You're going to take your blade and you're going to cut it from the red down into the yellow. I'm just turning it that way though, in the center, and you're just going to cut all the way through like so, and then just kind of pop it side by side like that. And then what I'm going to do is grab one of my steel rod thingies, and roughly center of the cane, I'm just going to make a divot like so. Doesn't have to be that deep, it doesn't have to be that big. You can do it as deep as you want or as wide as you want. And again, this is the beauty of canes. You can do the same thing as me, but you can change it up. Do you know what I mean? It's like I could have done a really tiny center here and not a very deep one, or in my case I've gone a little deeper and a little wider. And then I'm going to grab that white cane, or log, that I'd already rolled out, and I'm just going to roll that out to fit into the center of this groove. Okay. Now you could actually, I'm thinking I'm going to do that actually. I'm just going to make a little divot here in the same place on the other side, just so I know that that white log's going to fit nicely into there. I'm not necessarily going as deep, but just to help it a little bit. All right, so continue to roll the white log, and then what I like to do is pop it in, and then if it's a little bit too big for it, you can just stretch it and to make it fit. But that actually fitted quite well, so just give it a gentle press. And then on this bit here, on the red bit, I'm going to grab that white that I told you about, the little white strip that I told you about at the beginning. This is why it makes sense to get your components ready before you start, guys, and then it's just a case of grabbing what you need. Obviously, if you're making your own cane, you're designing your own cane, I tend to be all over the place when I'm doing that. But if you're following a cane, if you get everything ready before, it just makes it so much easier. Okay, so I've got that going through the middle there, and then I've just placed that little bit of a white strip just there. Okay, and then I'm going to get my two pieces and pop them back together. Probably didn't really need to do that groove, did I? But I'm going to squeeze it together like so. I'm just going to check my pictures again, because I don't want to screw up. I really need to okay, right. All right, so when you've done that, you got that back together again. We're going to use the white clay again in a minute. I'm just going to give this a gentle roll just to make sure it's all, you know, squished back together. But what I'm going to do is just take this, the red bit at the top there, I'm just going to take it and pinch it in a little bit. Now, if you've watched me make canes before, you'll know that they usually look like dogs' dinners before they look any good. So bear with me. Don't switch off at this point, guys, because trust me, you've seen the thumbnail that it's not bad. It just doesn't look that great as I'm doing it. So I'm just making this into a bit of a teardrop shape, like so. Nothing major at this point. But then what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of the red here, and I'm just going to start pulling it up like this, pinching it and pulling it up. So I'm effectively thinning it out. Can you see? I'm just thinning it out really, guys. Oh, it looks a bit like a hen now. Chicken. Oh dear. All right, so when you've tweezed it a little bit and teased it, get some more of that white clay and just take a little bit of the white clay, just a thinnish log like this, and place it just underneath this bit that's going to be folded over. So just roughly about there, and snip off the excess, and then I'm just going to bring this back down over that and fold it over like so. As simple as that, but I am going to tidy this up and just make that a straight edge there and remove that bit so it's nice and straight again. All right, so there's that. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. I'm going to start to pinch here and start to pull it upwards like so. So I'm just going to keep doing that. This clay isn't quite as soft as the red. And just a heads up, guys, when you're mixing clays like I'm doing today, you need to cure it on the temperature of the clay that cures at the highest temperature. So for Fimo, I can't even remember what Fimo is it what 230 Fahrenheit, and Premo cures at 275. It's absolutely fine to bake the whole thing at Premo's temperature of 275. If you do it lower, then the Premo isn't going to cure. So if you're mixing clays, always go with the higher temperature. Your clay's not going to burn. It's fine. I do it all the time, and you know, it's true. I tell you, it's true. All right, so when you've done that, same thing again, just grab that white log. I'm going to make this one a little bit thicker, I think, though. I feel like I made that other one a little bit too small, but it'll be fine. So again, just take your log, adjust it accordingly, and pop it there like so. And you can see I've made a bigger one on this one. And again, beauty of canes, you can change your mind as you go along. And trust me, I do it all the time. And if somebody ever says to me, can you do a video for that cane that you've just showed me? No, because I can't remember how I did it. But this one, I made sure I, you know, practiced it a few times and got it into my head on how to do it. They varied each time. I did one and I was like, yeah, it's okay, but I think I'll tweak it a little bit. So I did another one, tweaked that one a little bit, and then I did this one, and I actually decided I liked it this way. So I'm going with my third attempt. All right, so it looks a bit squished right now, but obviously once the edges are cut, you'll be able to see. I'm just going to go and do something with my iPad, guys, because I keep losing my pictures. I'll be back. All right, guys, I've got my pictures set up so I don't keep losing them. I've had to turn my screen so it doesn't keep turning off, so I can follow along a bit easier. Right, next thing then, I'm going to grab that jade log, the souffle jade that I showed you, and I'm just going to take some of that and I'm going to place it, wait for it, I'm going to place it just here, like so, right next to that white dot there. Would it matter if you put it on this side? Not really. This is what I mean. You can take your basic cane components and piece them together however you think would look good. But I'm going to put mine there like so, okay? And then the next thing I'm going to do is take my bullseye cane that I rolled out, the green one, and I'm just going to give it a little squeeze first just to make sure it's all nice and together. And then I'm going to grab one of my strips of black clay and I'm going to wrap it up in that. Easy. Make sure it fits. If it doesn't, you can always cut it to size or make your strip a bit bigger, but that was a pretty good guess there, wasn't it? So I'm going to wrap that, and then I'm going to reduce it down a little bit, but just a little bit at this point. So I'm just going to give it a squeeze and a turn. Try and seal that up a bit better than that. Didn't quite reach. And when I've rolled it out just a little bit like this, I'm just going to take some away for later. So maybe a third of it for later, okay? So there's that to one side. This one can get rolled out thinner. Actually, I'm not going to take it that thin looking at my pictures again. I'm just going to get rid of the end, but there you go. That's what it looks like inside, okay? So now I've got it, you know, a little bit longer, but not too much. I don't know why I said to roll it out thinner, because you don't actually need to. I'm going to now grab the yellow log, like so. And I'm actually going to condense this back down, guys, so it's a little squatter. So that's all you got to do, is just push it back down. All right, and I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to take my log, my yellow log. Before I do that, I'm going to just push an impression of this in here like this. Just push it all the way down, and I'm going quite deep, so it looks something like that. Okay, so I've gone right down to the center of that. And I'm going to take my yellow log, roll it out a bit thinner so it fits in that groove. And I'm just going to pop it in there like so, give it a little stretch if it doesn't quite fit, and that's perfect. And cut off the end, and I'm going to flip it this way, and I'm going to do the same on this side, but I'm not going to take this one as deep, but you could if you wanted to. Same thing, I'm just going to roll this out a little bit thinner so it fits in there. Pop it in and remove the excess. Okay, so now you've got this. Then what I'm going to do is turn it on its side like this, and I'm going to put an impression on either end like this. So I'm pushing that in there, and I've got a whole thing of these steel rods. You can get them on Amazon. I've got them listed in my Amazon storefront, and they come in all different sizes, guys, and they're really useful for doing things like this. Okay, right, so I've done that, but now I'm going to take my red log and I'm going to roll it out a little bit thinner so it fits in this groove. Just tidy the edge up a little bit and pop that in there like so. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. And now you've got something that looks like this. And you know what I'm going to do next? Yes, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, like so. Pop that in there, give it a stretch if it doesn't fit, I find it's easier to do that than faff around rolling it. And then you've got this, guys, okay? Now what I'm going to do with this, so far I've got this, and now I'm making another cane that's going to go with this first part of the cane. So it's kind of like a building block, guys. But what I'm going to do now, and I'm just looking at my pictures trying to work out which way I did it, I don't suppose it really matters. I'm going to do it from the red side. So here's that. I'm going to face it down like this with a strip of the red at the top. You could do it this way if you wanted to, really doesn't matter, but I'll go with red. And I'm just going to start pinching that upwards. These black bits here, I'm just going to start pinching them upwards like so. So you're effectively starting to make a triangle. I was just checking my pictures, guys. Because there's so many different parts to this, I didn't want to screw it up and miss anything. So I'm just referring back. If I go a little quiet, that's all I'm doing. All right, so you've made that now into a triangle. It's not a perfect triangle by any means, but it looks good enough to me. Now I want to be able to attach this to this, but I want to do it on both sides. I'm just looking at my picture. So one went here and then one went over here. So I'm going to have to reduce this to make sure I've got enough to put that on there. So I'm just going to take this down a little bit more, guys, and I'll be back. I've taken that down a little bit more, so I'm going to take one end and I'm going to pop it right next to where this green log is here, and I'm going to do it facing this way, so the flat part of it is resting up against that green log. Okay, can you see that? So that's the point of the triangle there, and then this flat base is kind of facing it. Again, it doesn't really matter, you could put it any way, but you would have to fill the gaps, which I'm going to have to fill the gaps anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter which way you put it, but that's the way I did it the first time, so that's the way I'm going to do it now. So now you've got this. All right, and then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to pop another piece, so it's on the opposite side of that, and I'm just going to pop it there like so, facing the same direction. Can you see that? I'm kind of lining things up now, guys. All right, and good news, I've got some left, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to use all of it. So now we've got this, and we've got this that we can do something with as well down the road. Okay, so you keep that to one side. Right, next thing then, I'm going to put this to one side and I'm going to grab my other bullseye cane that I did, and I'm just going to mush it a little bit, make sure it's nice and soft and ready to go in the next piece of black clay that I already rolled out. So again, this one's going to get wrapped. I might as well roll it out a bit more, seeing as my strip's a little wider, and just wrap it up like so. Okay, put that over there, and now we've got this wrapped in black as well. Just give that a little smush, a little roll, tidy it up a bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that yellow log again, and I'm going to push down into this one as well. I'm going to go quite deep on this one again. I should probably get a bigger rod, shouldn't I? I'm just widening that gap a little bit and pushing that in there like so. I'm getting my log. Actually, guys, I'm gonna go with the other end and keep it a little bit thicker. I think that's a little bit thin now. So I'm putting that in there like so. If it doesn't fit, just give it a bit of a stretch. And there we go. Get rid of the excess. And that's what you're left with, something like that. Next thing I did then was take this, make sure it's all stuck together nice, and then I took it and cut it in half. I'll eyeball it, cut it in half, and then what I did was pieced it together yellow to yellow like this. Let me just get rid of that. Yellow to yellow like that, and then just kind of mushed it together. And then same thing, I'm just going to take this into a rough triangle shape. I'm looking at my picture and I can't figure out what I did, guys. I knew this would happen. Oh, that's right, yeah. I'm going to pinch both ends, that's right. So I'm going to pinch this end and I'm going to pinch this end. So both sides are coming into a, not a really strong point, but you know, a gradual point. You see, I don't think there's any way I would have remembered all this if I hadn't taken quick pictures. Some of them don't actually make any sense now, but all right. So when you've done that, I fiddled around with that enough. Can you see you've got this? It's a very rough, I don't even know what shape you'd call it really. It's not a teardrop, it's pointed at both ends, but you get the idea. So it looks like this. And now what you want to do is turn it this way and reduce it out this way, which is not that easy, but just, you know, this is how I did it. I kind of went where the thicker part is and started to gradually pull it out like so. And you can always worry about the ends afterwards, guys. I don't worry about them. So I'm just going to keep on doing that and turning it and pulling it until it's longer this way, and I'll be back. I've tidied the edges a bit and I've only taken it down a little bit because I actually needed to do one more thing before I take it any further. So it kind of it's rough looking, but you know, that's what it looks like so far. But what I'm going to do now is just turn it on one side, and I'm going to grab my red log and I'm going to push in the center of this with this rod. I hope this is all making sense. I kept it as easy as I could. I know it's probably a bit long-winded, but I just wanted to show you how you can make really, really simple components for a cane and make it look really good. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but you know what I mean, guys. These are all really easy things you can do. And then you can be creative and put everything together how you like. You don't have to do it exactly like this if you don't want to. So for example, you could put a different colour in there, or you don't have to put a colour in there at all, or you could have made that more of a triangular shape. You know, the possibilities are actually quite endless. But I'm just rolling some more of the red out from that red log, and I'm just popping that in there like so. Getting rid of the excess. And then I'm just going to continue. I'm trying to think what I did there, guys. I can't figure it out. You know what? I'm just going to wing it then because I can't remember. So you've got something that looks like this. And I think what I'm going to, yeah, that's right. That's what I did. I then pointed it upwards like so. And I think I did that is because I thought, not really loving that. So I'm actually bringing it up now, and it gives it this really cool swirly look. All right, so when you put your red in, bring up the black sides into a point like so. I almost forgot what I did. I couldn't figure out from my picture what I did. All right, so there's that. Now you could leave it as that if you wanted to. Let me just cut off the end so you can see. That looks pretty nice like that, doesn't it? Or you could cut it in half, which is what I did. But I'm just going to make it a bit more pointy. So I'm just pressing it down onto my tile. But I'm trying to keep this a little bit rounded rather than too triangular, too squared off. And I'm going to flip it and do the same thing the other side. I'm trying to keep this bit rounded, like so. Let me just cut off this edge as well because it looks a bit gnarly. And you're left with something like that. I don't even care if it's, you know, a bit wonky like this side is. I don't care if it's not centered. It just doesn't bother me, guys, because I don't know, it just doesn't bother me. I'm not that bothered about being overly precise. I'm making a cane. I roughly know what I'm doing. I kind of know what design I was going for. I know what colours I wanted. So, you know, to me, that's fine. So you could leave it like that, or you could, I'm just going to take a little bit away though. So about a third of it again and put it to one side. So now we've got this with some components and then some leftover components from the other canes that we made. So now we've got these two canes as well. So, you know, you can just keep playing. You could leave it like that, or you could cut it in half, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it in half and piece it back together like this. And now you've got something that looks a little bit different again. Let me just level it off. And then now I've done that, you could even go further and add a few little more elements. I'm not going to, but just as an example, you could maybe put, actually I think I will do that. I've gone off my pictures now, guys, because I just wanted you to see this is what I did. But now I'm going to add this as well. So I've taken my little yellow log and I've rolled it out fairly thin just to go in the center of that. See, you can just keep adding and building and changing things as you go. So I've added that little bit of yellow, and that's all I'm going to do. You could put something along here if you wanted to, but I'm just going to keep it as is, guys, now. And then I'm just going to pinch it up a little bit where that yellow is, and then just reduce it down a little bit. Okay, so I'll do that. And I'll be back. I've taken it down a little bit more then because I wanted two pieces. I want one on one side and one on the other again, like I did with the other component. So same thing, I'm just going to pop that here next to this one. Make sure it's stuck on there. Remove the excess. Whoops. Remove the excess, make sure it's stuck on, and then I'm going to do the same on this side and pop that just there. Can you see I've got these pointing out this way this time? You don't have to, you could do it like that if you wanted to. You could change it up, guys. This is what I'm trying to get you to realize, that it's like a jigsaw puzzle and you can just piece things together and you can alter canes as you go along, like I showed you with these. Get rid of that excess. I keep going off camera, don't I? So now we've got something that looks like this. It looks a bit odd, doesn't it? All right, so that's that then. Now it's just a case of filling in these gaps. We've got some gaps. We've got like deep grooves here, and you know, you could do what you wanted. Again, you could do what you wanted now. And just fill it as you see fit, kind of thing. Oh yeah, no, that's for later. I was just thinking out loud, guys. Right, let me think what I want to do. Well, I've got this little component left from that other one that I did. So let's just, no, actually I'm not. I'm going to save that for later. So I've got this and I've got this and I've got this for later. Now just think, you've got these three little components here that were pretty easy to make, and you could put them all together and make another cane. See? Right, I'm going to start filling the gaps up on this now. Now, it's entirely up to you how you do it. I'm just going to fill the gaps as I see fit. So I'm taking my black log, rolling it out a little bit thinner, and I'm just going to start filling in gaps. So where that deep ridge was between these two canes, I'm just filling it up, guys. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so there's that. Might as well do the same on the other side. So I'm just popping that in there like so. Needs to be a little bit thicker. Just popping that in there like so. So there's that. So I've got black there and black there. Let's go with some of this dark blue, which I don't think I've used any of that yet, have I? I don't think I did. So same thing. Just gonna roll it, roll it, roll it. You could even pinch it and make it more into a triangular shape if you wanted to. I'm not. I'm just gonna go boop on. So I've got the green log, that component cane with a black log in between it, and on the side of this I'm putting some blue. Again, you could make this completely different. So I've got some blue there, so now I'm going to put some blue on this side as well. And that's all I'm doing, guys. I'm just filling up gaps now. And I could even stop there if I wanted to, but I think I'm gonna grab some yellow, which I haven't quite got enough, guys. So I'm just gonna roll out another little log of yellow and I'll be back. I just re-rolled out that little bit of yellow that I had, and I'm just popping that next to that green thing there. And again, cutting it off. I'm wondering whether to do something down here. Did I do on my other? I think I did, yeah. Looking at my picture, I went all the way around. But what I did do, and I've changed my mind, I am going to use this bit because I want to put that here. Or I could put it there. Yeah, let's put it there. So I'm just going to take that and stretch it out a little bit so it fits. This is not exactly the same as my original cane, guys, because I've changed my mind a little bit. Not that it matters. I'm just trying to show you that you can change it as you go along. So I'm gonna, where that blue log is on this side, so I've got the red and then the blue going down here. I'm just gonna pop that there, like so. All right, guys, so I've really got not that much left to do. I think I'm just going to make this black here. I'm going to put that black on that point. So that's more pointy like that. And then it's just a question of filling up the rest of these gaps. So I'm going to go off camera and do that, because all I'm doing is taking the rest of my logs and, you know, placing them wherever they might fit. All right, here's my dog's dinner, guys. I've just literally added a few more logs and filled in some of the gaps. I'm not put anything here, I'm just going to leave it as is. But what I do need to do is just shape this up a little bit, make sure everything's stuck together, and I need to wrap it in black, which I don't think I've got enough rolled out now. So I'm going to go and roll out some black, and I've rolled out another strip of black clay, made it wide enough for my cane, and I rolled the black strip onto a number 5. Again, you can do it thicker or thinner if you wanted, but whatever works for you. And I'm just wrapping this up. Now, at this point, you could reduce it, take it down, cut it in half, reposition it. I'm not. I'm going to keep it like this. At least I think I am, guys. Yes, I'm keeping it like this. So as much as it looks like a dog's dinner, when I cut into it, hopefully you'll see the beauty of it. but it needs to be reduced. Now this is quite a big cane, as you can see. So if you wanted to make it smaller, then obviously just use less clay. But what I'm going to do now is just take it down, and I'm not even overly concerned about it being a perfect shape. I definitely don't want it to be overly triangular. I want to try and keep this bottom bit rounded and this bit pointy, but not too pointy. So more like a teardrop shape. And it does take practice. But what I found works for me is if you kind of rock it as you turn it, so you're keeping this bottom bit rounded. And then also what helps is if you pinch it like this, going down, turn it the other way and do the same thing from that side. Now, like I say, this is a big cane, so it's going to take me a while to get it down to size. But that's all I'm doing, guys. I'm just manipulating it and making it longer this way. All right. I'm going to do the rest off camera. All right, guys, I've taken it down and that's what it looks like. I love it. See how nice and crisp it looks now. So I've taken it down to 8 inches actually, because I want a little bit left over. So let me just make sure it's nice and tidy, and I'm going to cut it into 8 equal pieces. And I'll be back because I'm not doing that on camera because I'm so bad at it. All right, I've cut it into 8 pieces like so, but I want to keep one aside, so I'm doing 7 petals. Okay, so I'm just going to take it and match it up like so. Look how gorgeous. And like I say, this was inspired by folk art. Now which way do I want this to go? So there's a little tiny bit of red and blue that needs to be matched up there. So I'm just making sure everything's matched up, guys. And my cutting's actually not too bad at the moment, although there's still some pieces left, so we'll see. Okay, so now I need to match this little red bit and blue bit again just here. See, this one's a bit off. This one's slightly off, slightly. I'll make it work. Okay, so there's that. I absolutely love this. And if you follow along, but then slightly tweak things as you go in, you're going to get a different look altogether, and that's what I love about this. So I'm making, I don't know if I'm going to need that other petal now. I did 7 petals on my last one, but let me just see if I can keep it 7, because I do kind of want to keep a little bit left over. So now we've got this and this and this and this and this to play with. We're not adding anything else to the cane, but we can add, I've not matched that one right. That doesn't look right. Hang on a minute, guys. Wait, what's going on? What's going on? No, that's right. Oh yeah, because it's an odd number, isn't it? So it's not going to match. Do you know what? I am going to make it 8 petals then, guys. I didn't on my last one. I didn't even think about it not matching with it being an odd number. So I'm going to, that's 8 petals then, like so. All right, so there's that. Oh my gosh, isn't it gorgeous? I absolutely love it, guys, even if I do say so myself. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of a center in there. So let me just grab a little bit more yellow clay. I really like this yellow. And just roll it into a log and insert it in the middle of this flower. I've got a little bit more black ready to go. I needed to grab some more because I forgot about having to fill this in as well. Goodness knows how long this video is going to be, but I tried to keep it down. Is that going to be, that's not going to be big enough, is it? Let me redo that. Let me just go and roll this, and I'll drop this in the middle of the floor. All right, so I've dropped that yellow in the center there like so, just to give it a little bit of a middle. But obviously this needs reducing yet again, but it's I don't want to reduce it like this. I want to maintain this shape. I need to fill in these gaps with black and then wrap it again in black. So it's a question of just rolling out some black logs, dropping them in the gaps, and then wrapping the whole thing in a sheet of black clay. So I'm going to go and do that off camera, guys. All right, so I've just filled those gaps in with some little logs of black, and then I've just wrapped the whole thing in black. Now obviously this needs to be reduced, and I really don't want to because I love it so much, but I've got to. So I'm just going to start to squeeze and turn, squeeze and turn, and start taking this down. Now this is where I usually screw up, guys. I always reduce too far, so I'm going to try not to this time. I've just got to make a mental note and tell myself, don't go any further. So I like to form a waist on mine. Can you see it starting to get that waist? And then kind of drag from the edges as well, and press and drag at the same time as you turn in, and just keep doing that until you've got it down to the size that you're happy with. Of course, I'm not going to do all this on camera, so I'll be back. There we go, I've reduced it down and I cut it in half. Now you can reduce again, so what I tend to do is reduce again if I want it smaller, and then cut in half and reduce again, and so on and so forth, to get different sizes of cane. So I'm going to keep this one for now, this size, but this one I need to make it a little bit smaller. So all you do is just take it down a little bit. I'm going to cut it in half and reduce this one down too, just real quick, and then you can take this one and reduce it even more, but I'm just going to keep it at these sizes, I think, guys. So I've still got, you know, I've got a lot of cane, but I've just done this one a little bit smaller for the sake of the video. Okay, so there's that. Now then, let me just take the end off this so you can see. Okay, so now we've got a smaller one too. Right, now then we need to go back and do one more thing, well, a couple more things actually, before we assemble the pendant. So remember that little bit of leftover green bullseye cane that I left over, and that little strip of gold that I told you about? We're just literally going to go boop to about halfway down, open it up, and just drop a little bit of that gold in there. We don't need that much, obviously, but I always like to roll out more, and sometimes I think I've got enough and I don't, and I think I've cut that too short. But oh, and I rolled this out onto a number 5, guys, but I'm going to stretch it so it actually fits in there because I cut it too short. So 5 or 6 is fine, and then just take off the excess. So there's that. So we've got this now, and I'm just going to literally make this into a point, so it's like a little bit of a leaf shape. And again, I'm just pressing it down on my tile and keeping this bit round, and just kind of doing that to give it the point one end and keep it rounded at another. So now we've got something that we have from a leftover component, another little extra something that you can add. Okay, so this needs to be reduced a little bit because I don't want them that big. Let me just get rid of the untidy ends again so you can see. So there's that. So now we've got the main cane, these green leafy looking things, these little bits that I got left over, and I managed to find an end of the cane, so that there's even that you could play with as well if you wanted to. And then obviously that, so we've got all these components that we can play with, and we can change them again. And I know this video is probably long, but I know some of you like the long ones, so you know, it is what it is. So I'm going to just reduce this, and I'll just tell you some news. I don't think I mentioned it in my last video. Anyway, my hubby got a new job. And he's going to be working away a lot, which is not good for me. So he said, let's move somewhere else, somewhere warmer. So the plan is next year we are going to be moving to South Carolina, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. So we're going to start probably looking in spring next year for another house, although I've already seen a house that I really want, but I'm not holding my breath, it will still be on the market by then, but you never know. So there's that. So hubby got a new job and he's happy, and we're going to move somewhere warmer. Of course, that means a new craft room, although I do love this one, but oh well, it's just a room at the end of the day. So yeah, there's that. All right, so I've taken this down a little bit more, and then what I'm going to do is change this up again a little bit more, so you got yet another component that you can play with. So I'm just going to take roughly half, so I want to keep at least half. So there's the little leafy thing. But then what I'm going to do is take this other piece, cut it in half, join it together like this, and then get that little bit of turquoise that I told you about at the beginning, which I haven't actually used yet. And it actually looks a bit grubby, but oh well. And I'm just rolling a tiny little log. And I'm going to pop it on the top like that. And I think that's all I did, just to make another little something, you know. So that's another little extra thing. I mean, obviously you could make a bigger one if you wanted to, but that's just another little component. Let me just check the other one that I did. Oh, that's right, I added a little bit of red in there as well, and I've got this little bit of red left over, and I just popped the little red log at the top like so. So there we go, as easy as that, guys. Just simple little adjustments. So now we've got all these little extra components that we can play with. All right, so let's get on moving on to the pendant then. Now I'm going to show you two different ways. I'll show you on black first. I ought to grab some cutters, autumn tie. Let me think. I think I'm going to go with this shape. You can get this cutter from Joy Creations. I'll list her in my description. And I think I'll go with not prepared. Let's go with a round one. You know I like round ones. And I'm trying to find my teardrop shape, but I'm not finding it. I perhaps left it out somewhere, did I? Can't see it, guys. Can't see it. Not my teardrop shape. I'm going to have to go off and look for it. I'll be back. Found it. So this shape, again, you can get this from Joy Creations, and I've grabbed another one, but I don't know if I'm going to do more than that on camera. We'll see. It's already gone on for long enough. I just have to think how long it is, but I probably shouldn't worry about it, right? People either want to watch it or they don't. So it clearly states at the start of each video how long it's going to be, so it's entirely up to you whether you choose to watch it. All right, so let's get the bigger piece of the cane then, and I'm just going to get my pokey tool and just do a few little ripples in it just to give it a little bit more definition. So I'm just kind of pushing down in between the orange part of the petal like so. I just like doing that. It adds a little bit of extra. All right, so that's all I'm doing. So there's that. And then I'm going to get a sharp blade, move this out of the way a little bit, get a sharp blade and fairly thin slices. And then what I like to do is just give it a little bit of a stretch And there's that. I'm thinking that might be a bit too thick. Yeah, that's probably going to be too thick. I'll use that on my next piece. I just need to cut this again a bit thinner, guys. All right, so there's that. Oh, what I need to do first though is get my cutter. I don't want to waste my cane, so I just like to make a very slight impression of the cutter that I'm going to be using, and then I can place my components accordingly so I don't completely cut off big chunks. I'm just looking at my last pendant that I did. All right, so I'm going to pop that there like so, and then I'm going to grab, let me think, which one do I want? I'm going to grab this one, this little one that I made. Just make sure the end's a bit tidier, and again little pieces, and I'm just going to pop that, I don't know, let's pop that there, and then let's get another piece and pop that there. So I'm going to be cutting some away, but not too much. And this is why I wanted to do these little components, because I wanted to add little extra bits. Now this one, I think what I'm actually going to do with this one is cut it in half and rejoin it like this, so it's more of a diamond shape. So that gives me another little something to play with. Like I say, I wanted to go with like a folk arty look. Folk arty. That sounds weird. I'm just mushing it together a bit. I'm not being overly precise, but there we go. We've got something else to play with. So I'm going to take a slice of that, and let's pop that there. So you're just adding all your different components, guys, including the main cane, or you don't even have to. You could just use those little pieces, extra pieces that you made. And I'm going to pop that there like that, like so. All right, so there's that. Let's add a couple of the leaves without the red and the blue attached to them. I mean, you could even, I like to even just kind of stretch it a little bit and kind of manipulate it so it curves around a bit. So there's that. And I think I'm just going to add one more flower, just the smaller one. I think I want to take that down a bit smaller though, so I'm just going to take a little bit off and just reduce it a little bit more. So then I've got a smaller flower to play with as well. Just get rid of the edge. Let's make some ripples in it, or ruffles. Like so. So there's that one. So I've made the flower smaller, and I'm just going to add that to this piece. Little slice, stretch it out a little bit, and I'm just going to pop that there. And that's what I'm going to do for that one. And then this one, I'm going to give it a jolly good burnish so it's flush to the clay, which is what we normally do with canes, is just put them on there and burnish them. But I'm going to grab my steel soap, makes it easier. Again, these are listed in my Amazon, and they are really good for burnishing. It makes things a whole lot easier than just using your fingers. Give it a look to see what it looks like, see if it's flat on there, maybe a bit more. Jolly good burnish. I like to go in circular motions as well, guys, and turn the paper. It just makes it more equal, I think. And then I usually do this after as well, in all directions. But that's just me. So there's that. Gorgeous. I absolutely love it, and I feel it does look folk arty. Of course, you could do completely different colours. if you wanted. But I think these colours lend to the folk art look that I was going for, so that's why I did those colours. Now I'm going to be cutting a little bit of the pattern away, but not that much, so that's where I'm going to go. And boop, cut it out, and there we go. That's the first one, and that's the first one, and that's burnished on. Okay, so there's that. I absolutely love that. So I'm going to pop that on some paper on a tile and bake it. But before I do that, let's do another one, but let's do it on white clay. So I've got some white clay. And I'm going to use this heart shape, I think. I think I'll just do these two, guys. And then I'll do some more off camera and show you at the end, because this video is going to be long. So again, I'm just doing a little gentle impress so I know where to put my slices. Get rid of that hair. Looks like a tipsy hair. She doesn't come down here very often, actually. Since I moved into my craft room, she doesn't really venture down a great deal. Excuse me. All right, so this one then. So I'm going to grab that piece that I cut for my the black one that I was going to do, and it was too thick. But for this, it's fine. And I'm just going to, oh, that might be too big, though. I think that's a bit too big. I'll use that on a different shape. So I think I'll just go with the smaller one then. Yeah, but not that small. I've got these two small. Yeah, I'll go with the one that's a bit smaller, but not as small as that one. And again, I just want to do this. I just like that frilled look. Okay. I've got hair in my mouth. All right, so I'm just going to take this then, and I'm not cutting it as thin. I'm keeping it fairly raised. I'm just going to pop that there like so. And then I want to use this, but I feel like this is a bit too big. So let's go with this one instead. Can always just, I might reduce this one down a bit, guys. But I'm just going to use this one for now. So again, just place it wherever you think looks good. Let's do another one of those next to it, like so. Whoops, face it the other way. It looks better that way because it's kind of curved. So there's that. And then I'll grab my leaf again. Guys, sorry about that, guys. My dog was absolutely freaking me out. I heard something and then she was down here shaking. My heart's pounding. I don't know what that was. She probably just heard something outside. Anyway, while I was off camera, it gave me the opportunity just to reduce this one a little bit because I really like that one. So I'm going to use that on this. Again, I'm not cutting it too thin. And I've changed my mind about this. I'm taking that off because I prefer this, and I'm going to put that there instead. And I'm going to pop another one next to it. But I do want to leave some gaps as well, so I'm not filling the whole thing, and you'll see why at the end. Alrighty, let me get my smaller flower. Again, not too thin. I mean, I'm not cutting it really thick, but I'm just not cutting it really thin either. That one's a bit blurred. I think I cut it blunt side, on the blunt side. I'm just going to get this one and I'm going to pop that there. And I think, what did I do with my leaf? I reduced my leaf a little bit as well. So I'm just going to, oops, it broke. I'm just going to take another slice of that. And I'm going to kind of pull it and shape it around a little bit. Oh, that doesn't look that good. Let me do that, redo that bit. Don't know if I like the look of this one, guys. No. Right, okay, let's put that there. And let's put another one here. They're a little bit fiddly. All right, that's all I'm going to do, guys. I'm just going to do it like that, and that's got a bit of the black on there, so I'm just going to scoop that off. All right, so for the black one, I burnished it flush onto the clay. So that's what that looks like, which I love. And here's Tipsy. We were just talking about you. Did you want to come and say hi? Yeah, come and say hi to everybody. I'm sorry. Come here. Here's Tipsy Tat. She's going to get wet. Hi, everybody. There's a little Tipsy paws. I know. Go on then. All right, so I burnished on the black, but this I'm not going to burnish apart from just a very little bit, but only to make sure it's on the clay good and smooth. But it's not flush, it's raised. So I'm just going to get my cutter and cut. And there's that one. So that's all I'm going to do pendant wise. But one's on black, one's on white, one's burnished flush, the other one isn't, so you can get an idea. And there's that one. And it looks like I screwed up the cut on that one, but you get the idea, guys. I'm going to have to tidy that one up, but there you go. That's what that one looks like. All right, so I'm going to go and bake those. That's bugging me. I've got to recut it. Let me just recut it, guys. I was way off on that, wasn't I? Anyway, there we go. So there's that one. I'll play around with it. So there's the black one. There's the white one. I'll make some more. I'll show you at the end. There's one more step to go with the white pieces, but other than that, almost done. And I'll catch you in a bit. Okay, guys, I've baked them, and this is the black one that I did where I burnished the clay so it's flush to the surface. Now I didn't want these shiny, so I've just sanded to a 400 grip using wet dry sandpaper. And I'm just going to show you as is, but that's that one. I just love it. I really, really love it. There's that one. And then I was going to show you something else, but this video is already long, so I just thought I'd go ahead and do it anyway. And all I did was I got this Light Wish UV resin, and this is the white one. You get a whole box of different colours. I've got them listed on my Amazon storefront, and I just filled in the gaps with that white resin. It gives it an almost porcelain look, so that's another option that you can do. And all I did was get a just put a little bit out onto a tile, and I used a needle tool just to, you know, get in all those nooks and crannies with it. So there's that one. So that's just another option. This is another one that I did, but I didn't fill the gaps in, and I've just given that a nice sand again, so it's nice and smooth. And then another one that I did, and this time I filled the gaps in as well, but not all of them. I left a few, you know, open. It's just to add a little extra. But there you go, guys. They're all the pieces, and I've not decided fully what I'm going to do with them yet, but I really think that some nice check glass beads would look really cool with these. Maybe a couple of dangles or something, or, you know, something up here with the beads. But I'm just showing you as is. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you probably next week. Catch you later. Bye.